was always kind of like against prenups, thinking that they're stupid. I always thought they were dumb because I feel like if you really like somebody, you shouldn't have the idea of like they're gonna rob you. And if you think that, then why should you marry them, right?
Yep.
So I'm like, oh, that's stupid as hell. Like, why would somebody do that? And then I heard somebody say something. It was like there's a divorce attorney who was having a conversation with the psychologist guy, and he said, bro, a prenup is basically a contract between what you guys want to happen if something doesn't work out, right?
Yeah.
And then he said, here's the thing. If you don't have a prenup, you don't have to have one. But guess what? The state that you live in will have that for you. Because essentially, the state regulates what happens between you two when you break up if you don't have a prenup. So it's almost like not having a will when you die. The state decides through a probate court where your shit goes.
Exactly.
So you're saying like if you don't have a prenup, when shit hits the fan or things go wrong, the state will decide based on their rules that could even change. If you have a prenup, you guys both decide what's gonna happen when you got if it ever comes up.
Yeah.
And the state's not gonna decide for you.
That's
and
way
then
better.
you make things a lot easier later on. Versus having to relate, go to the little family court and this and this and that. It's like you got the contract. You know what's going to happen if it ever does come up. I don't know. I don't know what to think about it. What do you guys think about that point of view?
I know how my boy feels.
How you feel? Okay, you go first.
How do I feel? I don't even know how I feel.
Well, no, I mean
about the prenup, like
the prenup thing. What did you think about it, and what do you think now that I told you what I just said?
Well, based on what you said, that's a good thing, I guess, because you make your own rules and you don't let the state kind of take over. I don't know. Like, honestly, you probably think I'm against it, but
Yeah. Well, I mean,
to
come
be
on.
real,
I mean, once you get a roller, you need a prenup.
I gotta put the rolling on the
that's,
prenup.
that's a good point. Good point.
Hey, bitch ain't taking half my rollie, cuz.
No,
You can have the extra
one way
links.
you can look at it two ways. Like one of them is like, oh well, you're almost expecting you guys to break up, sort of thing. But then another way, it's like you shouldn't worry about it anyways if you're not planning on anything. But just in case, it's just like an insurance type of deal, you know.
Yeah.
But now that you're talking about the state has the power, I would prefer the state not to have the power, regardless of what, you know.
Yeah.
Right, because I'm still kind of like what you said. I don't want to go in with the mindset of, hey, let's set it up because who knows what might happen.
Yep.
Because that almost feels like you kind of put it in the back of your mind. You put up that you still have that sense of security or some shit. And I feel like if you get married, that should be, and it's so common nowadays, right, for people to get divorced. The rates of divorce are crazy high and all that.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't have that as a mindset, right? Because then we always think like, hey, well, maybe we shouldn't even be married. Maybe we should. We get divorced. Like it just you're not gonna build the family that way anyway, right?
Bro, any marriage that you go into knowing that there's a way out, like there's an option of divorce, that when shit gets heated, you're always thinking about it. Like, oh, well, that's an option. So
It's like a
well,
safety
my
net.
parents are split up. My great grandparents, my aunt and uncle, my this and that. It's always an option instead of you working things out because divorce isn't an option.
Yeah.
You're just gonna be like, well, screw you. You've been making my life a living hell for the last year. I'm out.
You could look at it two ways. That way, it's in the back of your head, but also you're kind of protecting you and your spouse. You're making a deal. Some prenups are great deals for the wife, especially if the wife is not the one who's the breadwinner. I've seen some prenups where they get like $1 million a year just to live forever. And then they get alimony and child support also.
Yeah.
So some of them are sweet deals. I think prenup and post-nup, because that's a thing too. If you're already married,
Post-nut.
Post-nuptial. There's a prenuptial and there's a post-nuptial, which is after you're married. But I think it's a good idea, honestly. Especially, I didn't even know that fact. I just thought like, why am I gonna do the most and build some type of an empire and women be grimy sometimes.
But prenup could be about other things too, right? Couldn't it be about like custody or anything like? Could it be like that?
I feel like it could. I always I thought of it as a financial thing, like who gets.
I guess
stuff.
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I feel like one of the things that you could easily put in the prenup nowadays, like let's say, hey, if any of us ever like cheat,
that's in them.
then whoever cheated gets nothing and goes out broke.
That's a thing.
Can you imagine having that?
Bro,
That's the thing.
that should be in the law regardless.
You remember we looked it up in some states it's illegal to cheat?
Yeah.
It is
Like
yeah.
a law.
Adultery or
It is.
something.
we're like, don't go there, cuz.
No, but that's true.